pictures, and they're like, "That's too bad for you."
What?
Oh, what?
Well, many Texans are not of that ilk.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Texas. But other politicians, well, if you look behind me on this wall,
Ooh, and that's beautiful.
I had one organization that every year their keynote speaker was always usually someone that was 2 to 6 years out before running for president. So President Biden I met and spent a lot of time with, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, President Obama, who also he spoke at a Planned Parenthood event once too, actually. So that was fun. And the Bushes and Laura Bush, oh my goodness, the most lovely, lovely person. She spoke at a Rush Women's Board event one year, and that was memorable for sure.
You and I could probably have a, hey, I had this person in my event trade-off. I haven't had because of the nature of our organization, we can't do specific political things. But
Right.
I did meet Sandra Day O'Connor once.
Oh, wow.
And I had we had Bruce Rauner speak at a luncheon once. So we tend to get, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. But a year ago, before we all shut down, my last big event was Dwayne Wade. Let me tell ya, that was pretty damn cool. And I did an event with Common too the same year. So I'm just hitting all my like cool like icon guys.
I did that Common Ground event one year too. Actually, their first year I did it. It was extremely difficult, but it was a great event.
Okay, we could go offline and talk about this one because oh my god! But let me tell you, it was like fabulous. Like once we got to the event, it was fabulous.
And I think our listeners would love to know again. You work so hard to get these events going. When they're actually executed, Mark, do you like to stand back and breathe and look at your handiwork?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, and this is just me in general, what I loved about my career in events and hotel world was the planning, because I think everyone in life, you always, and I always tell brides this too, you always look forward to what's next and so the planning is the whole effort of looking forward to something. And I do think that's been the hardest thing the last 11 months is there's not been a lot to look forward to. So it's been hard for a lot of us. It's been hard for everyone, but I think specifically event people, because that's how we live. You always live like 6 weeks out or a year out or 3 months out. And that was my favorite thing, was the planning. And then, at the event, I remember, every night I'd go home and I'd look at, back in the day, the Ritz had those beautiful, that heron sculpture in the middle of the lobby.
Oh, yeah.
And they look like they're flying out of the hotel. They're now in the park right across the street after they renovated. And I used to look at those herons and think, that's me. I'm leaving. I'm going out.
I kind of agree with you about this past year. I basically lived my 2020 in my apartment, rebooking or issuing refunds to all of our clients. And, I'm really looking forward to getting back to it. The one thing I don't miss is I would leave the event at the end of the night and think, I'm going to have to crawl to the car because my knees hurt so bad for standing for 9 hours. So I don't miss that.
But you're an athlete.
When I was in my 20s, I was naive and thought I had to wear 4-inch heels at all my events on marble floors, and my knees are shot. And also running marathons without properly training for them kind of like throws your whole body out of whack. So my legs are shot. But I agree with Mark, I miss that feeling. I miss having a purpose. But you know what? I will say this, and I don't know if you feel this way, Mark. When we started canceling events, I had 2 clients that I was dreading working with even a year before, and they both canceled, and I was so relieved. That was the best money I've ever refunded.
Mark, surely you loved all your clients, or?
I have to say, like, and this is, just being at a Four Seasons or Ritz-Carlton, being at that level, I mean, there certainly were, clients like that, were more challenging, but it was so rare. I mean, I have to say, they were challenging in different ways. I mean, one of my more difficult parties actually was supposed to be, and it was not, the client is one of my dearest friends, and I just got her save the date for its move to October of this year. It was tough, and I was so nervous for the event because it was so complicated, and she has such a high expectation level and design expertise, and actually baking also was one of her expertise. So we'll talk offline about that. But she was putting together this amazing event. It was supposed to be on the 14th of March. And it couldn't happen. I mean, that was the 13th was D-Day.
Same with us.
And 13th was one of my favorite galas of the year. It's Timeline Theater, their gala.
Great.
Which seriously is my favorite. My husband and I are big theater lovers, and so I did go after a lot of the theater companies. Yeah. But no, I'm trying to think. Did I have any? Yeah, maybe. I think I did have one like that I wasn't so sad about.
I'll just
but
say,
I unfortunately was furloughed way at the beginning. So for whatever reason, that was a decision they made, and then so that was really, really difficult for me. So I had a week only of doing what you've been doing with the moving and rebooking and shuffling and force majeure, and I didn't really have to deal with any of that.
Yeah, Christy's one of the
paid for it.
Christy's one of the unusual ones that's still working. I mean, don't know if you know, but in June is when I turned around, and actually at the end of May when my father passed away in Australia and I had to go to his funeral on Zoom. A big Ritz-Carlton fan my father was when my writing was on the wall. I just turned around and went, oh, it's got to go. I'm shutting it down. It came into my heart of 14 years of memories. But, I was doing 2 months of whatever it was that we were doing through the pandemic. I don't even remember. I think it was partly mental health reasons to be working. I can't imagine not working, but it was that decision was made. So what was your so the decision was made for you, Mark, it seems.
Yeah, I was the only person in my peer group at my level that lost their job that I knew of in Chicago. One of my peers in San Francisco is still in the same situation. He's still furloughed. I don't know what the decision-making process was other than one thing, and it was money. I mean, that was it. I still, to this day, and I can say this publicly because no one's told me, I don't understand why they made that decision.
I'm sorry. Are you saying that your counterpart at the Trump Hotel still has their job?
He probably doesn't know.
I don't know at the Trump, actually. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But Peninsula, yes. Four Seasons, yes. Langham, up until a week ago, yes.
Oh. See.
So, yeah, I don't know about Trump. We didn't compete so much with Trump, sometimes for weddings, but sadly for them, because it's such a lovely, lovely, well-run hotel, but the last few years for them have been very tricky.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that he has actual management jurisdiction. It just has his name on the thing.
No. It's a Trump organization. Yeah. In fact,
Eric runs
in my new life, I just listed 4 condominiums in that building today.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Well done.
I want to get to the real estate, but I will say this: we shut down on March 13th, and I kept my job because. Again, it's really hard because I can't list where I actually work, but I will say this, our catering team, which is actually another company, they furloughed, they have properties all around the United States. They furloughed just about everybody and are still furloughed. I don't know why they did. And the thing that's frustrating me is I need them to start coming back because we're looking to start having events again, and I need them to be finishing the catering proposals and everything else. And they have one person in corporate kind of doing all of it. But the thing I've been hearing is they can't bring the catering team back till they know when events are starting because that's the only way they can pay them.
Okay, well, Mark, do you know when events are starting? It's the question on everyone's lips.
Well, I mean, today I'm sort of listening to MSNBC way too much, and today sounded so optimistic. I mean, they're saying that the vaccines, they think, it's possible that a good chunk of people will be vaccinated by May or June. I just heard today, because of changes that our current presidential administration have changed. Again, we're not getting political, but it's. I mean, you hear all the bad stuff about how bad the vaccine rollout is, but it's looking optimistic, and they're still saying we have to wear masks, and now they're saying 2 is not a bad idea. But I would think by fall, at the latest. I mean, but that's just me. Who knows,
There was actually...
And I've not been in touch with... And I have to say, I do, Christy, I cannot imagine what you've been going through, because in the little communication I've had with the Ritz-Carlton, it's been not the most pleasant thing to deal with,
I can tell you a couple of things. I know as of today, Chicago's moved into the next phase, and we've gone from 25 people in a room to 50 people in a room for events and restaurants. So it's getting better with that. I can also tell you that not only, are there still catering staff missing those? There's 3 venues in Chicago that rebooked their 2020 brides to 21, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, decided they just weren't going to do any events for 2021. And all these women are scrambling, trying to find which.
Wow.
When we found this out, I'm in kind of like a little venue group that was started by one of the catering companies, and there's about 65 of us, and we meet once a month to discuss what's going. And it's a combination of venue people, catering people, and a few vendors. And we're hearing there's still possible conventions coming up in July and August from Choose Chicago. So,
yeah, I heard that.
So things are, I mean,
it's just so conflicting.
I get updates probably at least once a week from someone, and then there's a couple of Event Coalition, and then there's another one. So I'm getting all the updates, but I'm feeling positive. But
at the end of the day, it's the employer that matters, and Mark's employer is not giving him. I mean, the Ritz. I can't imagine how they're feeling. Have any hotels actually shuttered?
A few have.
Oh yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Well, the Ritz is closed.
But they're not having guests.
Yeah. Blackstone closed. Hilton on Michigan Avenue closed. Palmer House
Weston's been closed.
The Palmer House is shuttered.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's many that are closed.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were closed. I thought they were still taking guests.
What they're saying, I remember specifically what they're saying. The combination of people getting the vaccine, which is lower than they want, but it's getting there, and people who've had COVID, is starting to create herd immunity, is what they're saying. And I heard that today. I'm like, I wanted to jump up and down, because it's the first positive thing I've heard,
I watch the Today Show every morning, and they had Dr. Fauci on this morning talking about how, and then actually as I was walking over to you, I was looking to my Twitter feed, because you're an MSNBC man, I'm a CNN girl. I've been watching just 16 hours of this impeachment crap all day. And
you're brave.
I've been listening.
Yeah, so on my way over here, I was looking at my Twitter feed, the 2 doors that I had to walk, and they were saying that Biden just got an approval that there's going to be 200 million more vaccines rolling out by April, doses. So, and Fauci was saying he's optimistic that by June we can have most of the. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing, because what I've heard what I've heard from the mayor and from the governor is we can't fully reopen until 80% of the city area is vaccinated. So, this could go on forever, because
but it's so important to know, because again, I'm half Australian, half American. I've spent half my life, and Mark, you've seen how well they've done under, right? 0 cases, 0 cases.
Amazing. We are Israel too. Israel's amazing too.
South Korea.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, I'd go there.
Yeah. So, Naomi and I had a bunch of questions when we were talking. So, you sent your bio over and you kind of transferred to real estate. Over the years, I don't know if you've seen these studies, top 10 most stressful jobs. And it's doctor, lawyer, and event planner is always on there. I actually would think that real estate is stressful too, because it's how do you make the sale? Do you think real estate is equal or more stressful or more relaxing? Tell us your thoughts.
Well, I would say it's different. It's very different and very much the same. In my role, I was primarily a salesperson.